On road trips across America, you've probably seen them, those towering fiberglass figures known as the Muffler Man. They stand outside a gas station, tire shops, and roadside attractions, waving drivers in with their giant hands. Did you know the Muffler Mans have a sister? Yep, meet the girls of the street, also known as the Unirural Gals. These fiberglass ladies first appeared in the 1960s. They were bold, they were flashy, and they were definitely turning heads along America's highways. Today, only 15 of these girls survived across the entire country, which makes them rarer than the Muffler Men. In this video, we're going to explore their history where you can still see them today and have a little fun imagining the adventures they have witnessed over the years. The Unirail gals were born in the swinging 60s when advertising was bold, colorful, and sometimes a little bit risque. The International Fiberglass Company of Venice, California, the same folks that created the famous Muffler Men, came up with the idea. Uniroyal Tires wanted a mascot that would grab attention, and they certainly got it. The gals stood nearly 20 feet tall with high heels, dramatic makeup, and a short skirt that made drivers do a double take. They weren't just billboards, they were roadside showstoppers. Imagine driving along the highway, maybe in your muscle car, and suddenly seeing a 20-foot tall woman in high heels standing outside your favorite tire shop. You wouldn't forget that anytime soon. Now, here's a fun fact. The Uniroyal gal was actually modeled after a real woman, a promotional model used by the company during the 60s. International fiberglass sculptors just exaggerated her figures for the maximum roadside impact, but she started as a living, breathing advertisement. Some even say she was modeled after Jackie Kennedy with that short, dark hair and that perfect figure. So, where can you actually find these legendary ladies today? Let's take a little road trip across the USA. First stop is in a tiny desert community in Personville, California. A towering fiberglass woman with that classic blonde flip hairdo is still watching over what once was dubbed the hubcap capital of the world. Isn't tied to any active business today, but she is an unforgettable roadside sight. It's uncertain how long this gal's been standing here, but as you can tell, the desert sun has not been kind to her with her faded red skirt and her fading face. I hope someone soon will pick her up and revitalize her and give her a new lease on life. Our next stop is going to be in El Paso, Texas. This Unirural girl has been standing here for quite some time. It's really uncertain how long she's been here since she is no longer tied to any one business. But it looks like she's going to be getting some new neighbors across the street from her. I think it would be a pretty cool sight to wake up every morning and see this gal waving at you. I just hope she can hang on long enough till I get to go see her in person. In Blackfoot, Idaho, in front of Martha's Cafe, this Unirural girl has been a resident for decades and has gone through more than one makeover. Once known for flaunting her wares in a bikini, the fiberglass waitress was later given a more modern look. Today, she's less pinup and more hometown waitress. Not many Unirural girls' journeys have been as straightforward, and few have had stories as colorful as Tootsie's. Originally, she stood in Dowers Grove, Illinois, until her owner retired and brought her along to Florida. After his passing, Tootsie was inherited by his son, who eventually sold her in 2013 to Ton Edmonds for only $500. For a while, Tootsie didn't get much attention. She laid on the transport trailer behind Tom's sheet metal fabrication building, her blonde hair and polka dot bikini fading in the hot Florida sun. But in 2015, she was finally put up to display, only to be taken back down 2 years later when a hurricane threatened the area. That downtime inspired Tom to re image her. Before she went back up, he gave Tootsie a dramatic makeover. He dyed her hair brunette, changed her swimsuit, painted it red, white, and blue, and set a set of dog tags dangling from her right hand. Beneath her, a platform carries the slogan, "Patriotism means standing up for being an American." Today, Tootsie proudly stands again, a patriotic fiberglass icon representing both her 1960 California roots and her modern Florida rebirth. She's not just a roadside giant, she's a tribute to the resilience and American pride. Meet Jolene in Northport, Michigan. She originally stood in Kentucky before moving to Ohio, where she spent years lying neglected in a backyard. Purchased at one point for just $150. She might have faded away completely if it wasn't for the friends of a Michigan business owner who recognized her potential. In 2021, she was completely restored and given a second life as an outdoor mascot for the marijuana's first dispensary. Today, she stands as an outdoor mascot for the county's first marijuana dispensary, right next to the parking lot where visitors can see her up close. Once known for her polka dot bikini, Jolene has since been redressed in a more conservative skirt and shirt, giving her a fresh, respectable look while still showing off her vintage fiberglass charm. Vanna Whitewall arrived on Washington Avenue in Peoria, Illinois back in 1968. And like many of her fiberglass sisters, she has gone through a few wardrobe changes over the years. Originally displayed in a bikini, Vanna later switched to more conservative miniskirt and blouse before returning to her bright red bikini again. In 2005, Vanna was in a car crash and broke her toes, damaged her ankles, and shattered a high heel foot. Fortunately, the owner was insured, which covered the cost of her repairs, and by 2006, Vanna was back on display, first fully dressed conservatively, then once again into her bikini, and later altering between the two. Today, she remains Peoria's icon, a true survivor who stood the test of time, car crashes, and changing fashions, all while keeping her roadside charm intact. One of the most enduring Unirural girls is Susie Bell, who has called Omaha, Nebraska home since the 1960s. Like many fiberglass giants, however, her story includes many years of being out of sight. For 3 decades, Bell was kept in storage away from the public eye. Then in 2024, she was finally restored, bringing her back to life as a piece of a roadside Americana. Today, Susie Bell isn't always standing out in the open. Instead, she is kept in a separate garage, but the owner or the manager is known to happily unlock the doors for curious visitors and even encourages photographs. Sometimes the best roadside transformations come from a little creativity and a touch of foresight. And that's exactly what happened in Glassboro, New Jersey, when Ed Wormby Jr. decided his family Unirural girl needed a new identity. The fiberglass giantess has stood outside their tire shop since 1965 when Ed's father brought her for just $300. Back then, she resembled the typical Unirural girl with the turquoise skirt and a green top, and affectionately was known to the locals as the doll. She always held a tire, making sure her perfect roadside advertisement was for the family business. But in 2007, Ed Jr. sensed it was time for a makeover. With superhero movies on the rise and Wonder Woman rumors to return to the big screen, he decided to go ahead of the trend. And in July of that year, he hired artists to re-image the 18-foot figurine to Nitro Girl, the superhero-inspired roadside icon. In the West Texas town of Lamus, the Uniroyal Girl stands proudly in front of Frank's and Son's tire shop, dressed in her golden tornado cheerleader outfit complete with the team's two-fisted cartoon twister mascot embossed on her chest. One of the most remarkable stories of the Unirural Girls is the figure that once stood in Winter Garden, Florida. By 2016, she was no longer gracing the roadside business. Instead, she was tucked away in a backyard, weathered and worn, a fading reminder of her fiberglass glory days. But in 2017, Joel from American Giants stepped in and gave her a second chance. She was purchased, transported, and began the long journey of restoration. Over the course of a year, layers of age and damage were carefully repaired until the gal was finally ready to shine again. Today, she proudly stands in Dallas, Georgia. She is sporting a bold new look. This once forgotten roadside queen has been transformed into a Wonder Woman, complete with boots and emblem, giving her an entirely new personality while keeping her fiberglass roots intact. North Carolina is the home to four different Unirural Girls, two different locations. The first location is in Bolton, North Carolina, called Grahamland. About 12 years or so, Mr. Graham and his wife started developing a amusement park, and it includes numerous fiberglass figurines, tons of Muffler Men, as well as zebras, giraffes, sharks, you name it, it's there, and even has a ton of flamingos. So I have to get here real soon. After doing a little bit of research, I see that they have three Unirural Girls lying on the ground. They have refurbished at least two of them that I know. I'm not sure if they have the third one done, but they make clothing as well for these Unirural Girls. I think this is just absolutely fascinating. The next location is Rocky Mount, North Carolina. Now, this Uniroyal Girl is on private property and owned by a gentleman's club, so the chances of you seeing it are extremely rare. Among many of the fiberglass titans standing at George and Pam's property in Unger, West Virginia, one stands out to us, their vintage Uniroyal Girl. Now, this couple has been collecting giants like Muffler Men, Big John, and even a surfer dude, but they have a long list of other type of lawn ornaments. But unfortunately, I have heard that George and Pam have recently sold their property and are moving away, and I'm in desperate need to get to West Virginia to see this Uniroyal Girl before they're all too gone. Moving on to our last vintage Unirural Girl. This fiberglass giantess had lived more than just one life. She began her journey as a classic gal before taking on a series of makeovers that reflected the places that she called home. For a time, she stood in Kingsville, Maryland, where she was part of a hayride adventure. And what made it even more memorable was her owners actually made real clothes for her to wear, giving her a seasonal, interactive flair. Later, she moved to Illinois and spent a time outside the Pink Elephant Antique Mall, a popular roadside stop for those hunting for nostalgia and curiosity. Like the Muffler Men, who often changed roles from cowboys to gas station attendants, she adapted once again to her new surroundings. Today, she has transformed into Ruby the Pirate at the Pirates of the Mississippi attraction in Batchtown, Illinois. Dressed in swashbuckling style, she now greets visitors with a whole new personality, proving that these fiberglass giants can evolve and stay relevant while carrying on their unique roadside charm. From farm girl to antique mascot to pirate queen, Ruby shows just how versatile and resilient the Unirail's girls can truly be. Welcome home, Ruby, and enjoy those gorgeous sunsets. But just like everything else in America roadsides, even the Unirural girls can't stay the same forever. With the increased popularity of Muffler Men and the 100th anniversary of Route 66 in 2026, there's a new surge of Uniroyal girls making their appearance on the road. That's right, there's a new generation in town. In Longview, Texas, this female muffler man is a new generation. She stands proudly outside the American RV restoration. I cannot wait until my next trip to Texas in February to lay eyes on Big Amanda. Not only do I want to see her, but I want to see everything that's going on in the America RV restoration location. Meet Stella Adams, the dazzling space cowgirl in Tulsa, Oklahoma, who brings a blast of retro furious to flair to Route 66. She is the female counterpart to the classic Muffler Man and part of the new generation of Unirural girls, custom built to capture the spirit of the roadside Americana in a modern era. Created the fiberglass artist Mark Klein, Stella was designed specifically for Buck Adams' comic heroes on Route 66. She now stands proudly along Buck Adams, the space cowboy Muffler Man. Together, they form one of the most picturesque roadside duos along the entire Mother Road. In 2024, the town of Atlantis, Illinois became home for this pie holding waitress known as Luma the Giant. She stands out front of the Country Air restaurant. The owner of the restaurant named her after his wife, who has once won grand champion honors at the Illinois State Fair for her pies. The Uniroyal gals, or the girls on the street, have stood tall for over a half a century, keeping an eye on America's highways. They're quirky, they're rare, and unforgettable, true piece of Americana. Thanks for joining me on this trip. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your own Unirural girl sightings in the comments. And always keep your eyes on the road, and you never know what you're going to discover next. Until next time.